Welcome on this glorious and amazing yet challenging day. Coronavirus video number 2. I've gotten many messages, questions. If people are questioning themselves, if they're overreacting, not overreacting, how to deal with this, some people are simply freaked out. What hurts me to see is professionals telling individuals, don't panic, don't overreact, don't panic, don't overreact. So let's pretend someone gets a cut. We don't want them to bleed. We don't want them to lose blood. So you tell them, don't bleed, don't bleed, don't bleed. I do believe, and I agree, not 99%, but 100%, that paranoia, panic, stress, and fear is counterproductive. And we definitely need to stop it. But one thing is not shared, which I will attempt to share over here, is how to, what to. And then I could do it now, is refer you to my other videos. I think I have 3, which is called Why Fear is Good. It explains how fear works and how to work in great details. There's 3 clips. But I'm going to focus on the coronavirus. And then we're going to focus on a second group of people that you may know. You may be from that group, or you may know someone, and you'll know how to deal with them instead of emotionally abusing them, because they are targets of big emotional and verbal abuse, one thing at a time. Sorry for my ADD. Number 1 is something that happens. Something dramatic, something huge, which in our situation, it's the coronavirus. As they say, it is what it is. What happens to most people, or to lots of people, is by default. It's not that you sort of choose it. By default, you go, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And especially if you got the wrong news or the wrong information, you go, oh my gosh. And you begin to worry. Now, I'm going to say something that might sound weird, but you might think I'm bipolar, but I'm not. That feeling, that fear, that reaction is normal. Yet at the same time, I will say it's extremely unhealthy. And at this point, it's simply wrong and hurtful for yourself. But I'm not going to tell you to stop. I'll tell you what to do and how to do. And I'll try to be as helpful as I can in this very short clip. So the first thing you know, you're normal. Now, what do you want? We all want the same thing. We all want to be safe, and we all want to continue having the illusion to be in control. It's fine. Now that our body's in second gear, first gear would be the reality of the situation, which is the coronavirus spreading like fire, out of control, and it's invisible. So it's an enemy which is invisible. Gear number 2, which is by default, is suddenly fear. And to some people, panic, and some people are simply just not even sleeping and going to the booze and doing other stuff that they did in the past, but way more now, because they're in second gear. Second gear is natural to kick in, but me and you have the ability to kick in now to the third gear. The third gear, if you want, you could still hang out in second gear, and that would be validating, writing down with how you feel and how you're scared, and that's totally fine with me. Validating your fear is beautiful. Let's kick into third gear, which is very important. Third gear is, if you want to be safe, there's actually stuff that one could do. Depending what state and what part of the world, everyone has their own rules based on what's going on. If you invest in West Virginia, for example, it might be a little bit more lax, although I have an issue with it, because it could be they have it, just we don't have anyone yet that showed the symptoms, but it could be they have 300 cases and we don't know yet. Now, if you're dealing with New York City, yeah, there are people on top of each other, and we have to deal differently. Practically speaking, validate your fear, and let's kick into gear 3, which is now write down, maybe even write it down. What can I do to be safe? What can I do? So what you're shifting, you're focusing on the safety. You're focusing on the actual things that you could do. Once you write down, you have a plan for yourself. If you live for yourself, it's just for yourself. If you have for your family, Go through it with a friend to make sure you got the right sources, not to make your children overly OCD, although now it's beautiful to be OCD, but you don't want to be OCD plus tax because that's too much. Go through the plan, implement it in the most peaceful and harmonious way. One of the ways that the health professionals might not even talk about is not only keeping and writing down all the safety that you will do to keep you safe, or as safe as possible, not to carry it, transmit it to the elderly or to the to the children, is at the time when we're stressed out by default. Always distractions. Always distractions. That's okay. It's part of life. It gives us the opportunity to appreciate the quiet times. And what they don't tell us is simply stay on a healthy diet as well. I'm not saying eating healthy keeps you totally safe, but there's one thing. There's attracting the infection or carrying it around and spreading it. Then there's another issue of simply having a good immune system. Now, don't freak out and start looking up all the healthy stuff. Any extreme is unhealthy. Just a time when people's lives are all turned over. That's the time usually people don't eat nutritious meals. That's the time people will run to the cookies and to the candies and to the popcorn and to the chips and not eat healthy. If anything, especially a person that has a strong immune system, you want to keep that. So let's just summarize. There's an event that happens. Our body kicks in to gear number 2, which is fear and anxiety. And our brain, I didn't mention this before, our brain doesn't know what's a feeling and what's reality, and your body begins to react to the feeling as if it's reality, so you think the world is coming apart. To avoid that, continue for a few moments to validate your fear as a feeling, not as a reality, as a feeling, not as a reality, and then kick into the third gear. The third gear is actually to write down, not only to think it through, to talk it through, write down all that we will do to keep ourselves safe. The one that's going to worry, the one that's going to protect us, is from a higher source. But that's only if we do our part. So our part is focus on reality. God's part, your guardian angel, will focus on keeping you safe. What I want to conclude with the video is the second group of people that I mentioned before. The second group of people are people, individuals, that as children, and they didn't heal yet from therapy, as children their lives were out of control. If they had a parent that's out of control, if they had a parent that was bipolar, if they suddenly had a swift move to another country, to another state, if they were touched inappropriately, they were molested. The moment these individuals, even if they're 20, 30, or 70, the moment there's any change in life, there's a trigger. And there's a very deep trigger, and they react way stronger than the average human being. Not because they're overreacting, not because they're idiots, not because they're stupid, and not because they're foolish. There's simply a science that every therapist will know, that this is called a trigger. So to those people, instead of running around the house and saying, stop reacting, stop running around with the Lysol wipes, stop telling the kids to just wash their hands 2 minutes ago, leave the kids alone, stop it. What you're actually accomplishing is even bigger fear and anxiety. Therefore, it's good to study and learn about triggers for these individuals and to understand that they're going through a very difficult time. If anything, validate their feelings and perhaps help them out with differentiating between feelings and reality. If we keep certain rules, we got anywhere from a 90 to 99% of being healthy. I just went to the store to buy essentials. I was very hurt to see, very pained to see people in their 70s shopping. Like, what are you doing? So these are people that might be freaking out and saying the world is coming to an end, yet they go out and go shopping. I will not judge them, because it could be there is no one to help them. But that really, really hurts me. The bottom line is, let's respect and understand each other. We will get through this. We will get through this. No one can lie to you to tell you it's going to take a few hours or a few days. It's going to take months. The peak is only going to hit in quite a few weeks. And let's prepare ourselves. We are resilient, we are powerful, we are created in God's image, and many of us will only find out in the next few weeks how unbelievable and incredible and outstanding and strong we are, that we could go through these very trying and challenging times. All the very best. Look after yourself. Look after yourself. Look after yourself. I think a quiet park where there's no one around is a very hard place to contract anything. That's why we're here. All the best. Feel good. Feel good. We are all in this together.